Good morning, everyone. I will go ahead and call today's meeting of the Clay County Board of Commissioners to order. The first item of the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
Madam Chair, I move for approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda by Commissioner Ebinger, a second from Commissioner Bear. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carried. Our second item today would be citizens to be heard. Are there any individuals in the audience wishing to address the board on any item that's not on the agenda? Anyone in the audience? Steve, have we had any online correspondence?
We have not, Madam Chair.
Thank you. The next item would be the approval of the payment of bills and vouchers.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the bills and vouchers.
Motion offered from Commissioner Bear to approve.
Second.
And a second from Commissioner Krabenoft. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Items carried. The next item would be the minutes presented from the December 30th, 2025 meeting.
Madam Chair, I move for approval of the minutes from December 30th, 2025.
We have a motion to approve offered from Commissioner Ebinger, a second from Commissioner Bear. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That item carries. The next item on the agenda today would be the 2025 Metro Profile Report presentation. Good morning. We have Carissa and Aiden from MetroCog today.
Thank you, Commissioners. Good morning. Like Commissioner Mojo said, today we're going to be presenting our 2025 Metro Profile. This is a document that we've been producing. We produce every year and have been producing over the last year, so excited to bring it in front of you all this morning. There is a lot of information in this document, and so we're not going to be going over all of it today, but if you ever have any questions, please feel free to reach out to myself or to Carissa or anybody at MetroCog, and we'd be glad to answer any questions. All right, so just jumping into the presentation, the Metro Profile is separated into 6 chapters, each of which focuses on trends affecting the development patterns and transportation network of the Fargo-Moorhead metropolitan area. Together, these chapters provide a comprehensive snapshot of the conditions and trends affecting our metro area. The first chapter in this document is the Community Profile chapter. And just some highlights on the Community Profile chapter. The Fargo-Moorhead metro area has continued to experience faster population growth than the country as a whole. In 2024, there were 5,173 new residents added to the metro area, resulting in a nearly 2% change over the previous year. Moorhead saw a nearly 1% change, Dilworth saw 0.63% increase, and then rural Clay County saw just a slight decrease of 0.08%. Moving on to our demographics, the population of our metro area remains younger and more educated than the national average. Our metro area also continues to look more diverse, despite having lower rates of foreign-born individuals and those speaking a language other than English at home. Even though our metropolitan area is diversifying, regional trends are still slower than what is occurring at the national level. And lastly, under Community Profile is our employment section. And in 2024, the Fargo-Moorhead metro area was ranked number 2 in the nation for lowest unemployment rate. This is the second year in a row that we've been ranked number 2, which is pretty awesome. And then the other thing to highlight on this page is that our metro area sees higher than average percent participation in the labor force when compared to the rest of the nation.
For the roadways chapter, we look at trends of how many miles are traveled per capita. In the metro, the average commute time is about 17 minutes compared to the national average of 27 minutes. We also track the number of projects and funding sources in the TIP. Some of the major projects in 2024 were the 11th Street underpass in Moorhead and the reconstruction of 32nd Avenue in Fargo.
Moving on to our freight section. In 2024, there were 349.3 million pounds of air cargo landed at Fargo-Hector International Airport. This is a 14% decrease over the previous year. This decrease reflects a couple things. There's a national downward trend in air cargo, something that's occurring at the national level that we're also seeing here. And then there was also a mail contract that FedEx had with USPS that was terminated. So that is why there was such a drastic decrease this year. The other thing
Hayden, I have a question really briefly.
yeah.
Would the addition of the Amazon facility in North Fargo have any input on those numbers? Understanding that likely the folks are still making those purchases, but because there's an availability locally, that wouldn't be coming in by freight?
That's a very good point. Yeah, that'd be something to look into as well with the next years, as we can maybe reach out to Amazon and get some numbers on how much cargo they're bringing in.
Thank you.
And then the other thing to note on this page, kind of a new metric that we're tracking this year, is the percent of freight trucks on our interstate systems. So freight trucks account for 11.7% of all traffic on Interstate 29 and 7.4% of all traffic on Interstate 94. All right, and then moving on to our rail and air section, Amtrak's Empire Builder saw a pretty significant increase in ridership this year, marking a almost 14% change over the previous year. And then the on-time performance also increased by 4.5%. So hoping to see those trends continue into the future. And then Fargo-Hector International saw its busiest year on record for the, I believe, second or third year now, with nearly 1.1 million passengers served. And as many of you know, the construction of the terminal expansion and parking garage that began in 2024, the parking garage is now complete, and the terminal expansion should hopefully be completed in 2027.
We also track bike and pedestrian activity. Fargo-Moorhead has an extensive network of trails and bike paths, nearing almost 300 miles. By using a widespread automatic and manual counting program, we track the number of trips made by foot and bike over year, with 2024 seeing a 4% increase. Broadway and the Lindenwood pedestrian bridge are some of the most used corridors in the metro. Safety, additionally tracking all crashes involving bicyclists and pedestrians, we can identify trends of non-motorized safety. In 2024, the Metro saw an increase in the number of these crashes, including 2 fatalities in South Fargo.
And then, just wanted to kind of highlight our bike and pedestrian counting program. We have 14 automated bicycle and pedestrian counters located throughout our metro area. And then in addition to that, we do manual counts every year at 16 locations. So we're continuing to expand this program, and we have quite a robust counting program for a metro our size. And then here are just some kind of highlights of some of the counts that we get from these counters. Won't go super in depth into any of these, but they're just here for your reference. All right, moving on to our transit section. This year, or in 2024, MATBus served over 1.3 million passengers, resulting in a 2.2% increase from 2023. MATBus has continued to see this growth trend since COVID or post-COVID. So we are hoping to see this continue and reach pre-COVID levels. And then just one more slide on this, and this just kind of highlights the inventory that MATBus has. And I just wanted to highlight that there were 10 bus replacements ordered in 2022 by MATBus, and all of them were finally received in 2024. So a lot of those older buses have been replaced and won't need to be replaced for quite a bit longer.
This is our new chapter, System Performance. The System Performance tracks how well the transportation system is working across the metro. This includes traffic flow, travel time, safety, and on-time performance. This helps us make smarter decisions about future projects and investments that keep people and goods moving safely and effectively.
All right. This is one of my favorite slides in this whole document. So this is kind of an interesting trend that we've been tracking now over the last couple of years. But over the past 5 years, our total vehicle miles traveled has remained relatively steady. However, during the same period, we've seen a pretty significant population growth in our metro area. So typically when you have more people, that means you have more cars on the road, so you would expect a higher VMT, but that's actually not what we are experiencing. The data is telling us that even though we've had that population growth, our vehicle miles are staying the same. So this could mean a couple different things. It's hard to exactly pinpoint what it could mean, but it could be that changes in driver behavior, so people are just choosing to drive less. Fewer young people acquiring driver's licenses is also another thing that we've been seeing kind of at the national level that may be happening here. Or there could be increased reliance on alternative forms of transportation, like our MAP bus transit system, or more people choosing to walk or bike to work to get groceries, that type of thing. So just something we wanted to put into the document this year, and we're hoping to continue tracking this into the future. And then the last slide that we have prepared for you is just kind of tracking the demographics of people living within a half mile of transit stops. So within a half mile of transit stops, 170,000 people live within that buffer. 108,704 jobs are within that buffer. 8% of people living within that are car-free households, either voluntary or involuntary. 12% of people are living with a disability, and 13% of people are 65 plus. And so our hope is to continue again tracking these into the future. Hopefully, maybe targeting some areas of town that may have high populations of people that are car-free or 65-plus populations, because these are the populations that are most likely to use the transit service. So with that, that's all we have prepared for you all today. There's a lot of information in here, so again, if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to Chris or I, and we can take any questions at this time.
Thank you, Carissa. Thank you, Aiden. Any questions from the board? The amount of work that has gone into this document is incredibly large, and this is one of those documents that I think as a commissioner is really handy to have in our back pocket. We sit on so many different committees revolving around a lot of the issues in which are talked about in this document, and I think having the data will really help us make decisions moving forward. So I know the planning piece is yours, and then you hand it off to the decision makers. Gratitude on my part. Anything else? Thank you, both of you.
Yes.
Next item today would be the request approval to award the food service contract for the West Central Regional Juvenile Center, Correctional Facility, and Withdrawal Management. Good morning, James and Troy.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Yeah, we're here today to request permission for the board to make a decision on the food service contract. We came with a recommendation today as part of compliance with the National School Lunch Program, et cetera. I provided something in your packet with our objective evaluation. The biggest price is the price. The biggest weighted one is the price proposal, but we weighted on several categories: price proposal, vendor references, plan of operation, nutrition and education, past history with compliance, and then total points possible. Basically, going through it from my point of view, and on those scores, both proposals were almost identical in terms of the references that they provided, their plan of operations, their standards or menus, pretty much identical of what they were planning to offer. The difference between the two was that Trinity Food Services came in cheaper than Summit Foods, so recommendation is to go with the the cheaper option of the two.
Thank you, James. Another direction from the board, I believe, last week was to talk a little bit about what was budgeted. Do you want, and I know it's in the memo, but do you want to just highlight that piece?
Will do. So when I broke that down, I budgeted for an 8.5% increase. And I did that based on the consumer price index for that, that's given out. And the actual increase from Trinity for the juvenile center, not for the other facilities, it actually came out to be a 26% increase. However, and that's the lowest of the two bids. However, one thing with the National School Lunch Program is access to commodity foods and crediting that can be done with our vendor, which was in the RFP and will be in the contract as part of the thing, which would reduce the juvenile center's cost by up to 45%, 45 cents per meal.
So with that addition, that would put it within what you budgeted for.
Lower than what I budgeted for, actually.
Okay. Questions of the board? Yes,
One question,
Commissioner
Madam Chair. Who are we currently using for this service?
Trinity Food Services.
Any further discussion, questions? Commissioner Kravanaugh?
Yeah, just want to thank you for all your work. Very well done. Make a motion to award the food services contract to Trinity Food Services effective February 7th.
Second.
A motion offered from Commissioner Kravanaugh, a second from Commissioner Ebinger. The date is correct.
That is correct. February 7th would be the start date of the new contract.
Any further discussion?
One question, Madam
Yes,
Chair.
Commissioner Bear.
That is for a one-year contract with an additional years on top of that?
That is correct.
Two additional years?
We have up to 4 additional years.
With a set increase?
That'll be in contract, but what is standard is the consumer price index for the urban and food preparation thing.
Yeah, all right. So that would be the increase on.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 5. Does anybody else just get cracked up when Justin just automatically comes through the door when it's? Your item today would be to request the approval of MNDOT limited use permit for resolution 2026-5 for the Snowmobile Trail.
I think you missed the
Or,
first.
let's do the joint facility roof first. Does that work?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, good morning, Madam Chair, board members. Yes, we're here today to request approval of the final contract for the joint facility roof. So project ended at the end of October, early part of November. Everything went well, and so we're requesting to move forward with that 5th and final payment. Any questions for me? This would be obviously the joint facility.
So the final contract amount would be the $440,691,
Correct.
Correct.
and then there's 3 shares to that, correct?
Yep.
Correct, yep. Our share would be $198,310.95.
Questions from the board? Wishes?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the final contract voucher for the joint facility roof project in the amount of $440,691.
Second.
Commissioner Bear offers a motion to approve the final contract voucher. Commissioner Ebinger seconds the motion. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carried. Thank you.
Thank you, board.
Let's do the approval of the MNDOT limited use permit, resolution 2026-5 for the Snowmobile Trail, please.
Yes, so this is amendment number 2, and basically what this does is it just extends the limited use permit that allows for the use of snowmobile trails throughout Clay County for another 10 years. Pretty standard. We've come to the board with this agreement a few different times, and I think it works really well when we get snow.
We'll do these in 2 separate motions. Any questions of the board? So the first item would be the LUP number 1401-0014, Amendment 2.
I'll make that motion.
A motion offered from Commissioner Bear to approve that.
Second.
And a second from Commissioner Ebinger. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carried.
Make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-05.
We have a motion offered from Commissioner Kravinoff to approve Resolution 2026-05.
Second.
And a second from Commissioner Ebinger. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carried. Thank you. Next item would be request approval of the final contract voucher for SP 014-614-001.
Yes, so this was the bridge project that was on CASA 14, just southwest of Glendon. I think this project turned out really, really well, and it finished about a month ahead of schedule just because of the obviously light winter we had last year, and they were able to start in February. Redstone Construction was the contractor, and the final amount to be approved is $1,731,601.37.
Questions from the board? Having this get done early was really helpful for harvest.
Yes,
Very helpful.
definitely.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the final contract voucher for SP 014-614-001 in the amount of $1,731,601.37.
Motion offered from Commissioner Bear to approve.
Second.
A second from Commissioner Ebinger. Discussion.
Just a question. As mentioned here, I want, as part of that motion, there was potentially a contingency upon the approval of the closeout.
Yes.
Is that
The motion and second represents the memo.
Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, so being this.
Second, I want to make sure we had the motion approved, the second, yes. Okay, thank you.
Being this was a federal project, there was a DBE goal on it, so there's just one piece that they have to get Office of Civil Rights approval before we pay them. It's pretty standard and not super complicated, but I just put it in there just in case.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Carried. Next item would be the request approval of the final contract voucher for SAP 014-598-079, SAP 014-599-105, and SAP 014-599-114.
Yes, so the reason they're all on the same agenda item is they were tied by contract, so they were the same bid. Once I say the actual totals, I will need 3 separate motions for each project. So this is the final contract voucher for 3 bridge replacement projects. 2 of them were township, one being in Elkton Township and one being in Goose Prairie. And then the county one was just on County Road 51, just south of Comstock. And that was a much-needed project. All 3 turned out really well. Hool Excavating was the contractor. And for the first one, this would be the county one, SAP 14-598-079. Final amount to be approved would be $326,380.20. Do you want me to just go one?
Let's pause.
Yeah.
Any questions on the presentation?
Question, Madam Chair.
Yes.
The initial bid to approve and then the difference between the approval, why is it more money?
So on these bridge replacement projects, most of the time it's an aggregate. The one by Comstock, we had to cut a bypass channel because we got a ton of rain. So then we have to pay for that aggregate to backfill it. Obviously going into it, we didn't really know it.
Yeah.
Let's go forward with a motion on that first final contract, if I may.
I'll make a motion to approve the final contract voucher for SAP 014-598-079 in the amount of $326,380.20.
Thank you. We have a motion offered from Commissioner Kravinoff to approve.
Second.
A second from Commissioner Bear. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carried. The next final contract voucher is, well, you didn't,
SAP 014-599-105, this was the Goose Prairie project. Final amount to be approved would be $195,544.00. And the reason for the overage on that one is once we got the old box out, the bed was complete. Like, we had to over excavate quite a bit.
board wishes?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the final contract voucher for SAP 014-599-105 in the amount of $195,544.
Second.
We have a motion offered from Commissioner Bear, a second from Commissioner Ebinger to approve the voucher. Any further discussion? Any further discussion?
They did a very nice job.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carried. The third contract voucher?
Yeah, so this one's for SAP 14-599-114. This one was in Elkton Township. The final amount to be approved is $140,961.00.
Wishes of the board.
Madam Chair, I move motion to approve the final contract voucher for SAP 014-599-114 in the amount of $140,961.
Motion offered from Commissioner Ebinger, a second from Commissioner Bear to approve. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carried. Thank you. Next item, Agenda 8, SAP 014-609-010, advertising.
Yeah, so I'm requesting approval to advertise for this project. So this is the mill and overlay project on CASA 9 in Dilworth. So it goes from Trunk Highway 10 up to CASA 18. This is the one that kind of goes by that U-Haul building. It's a project we've been working on for quite a while, so we're excited to see it done. And then the proposed letting date would be February 24th at 9 a.m. at the board, like we always do.
Madam Chair, question.
Yes.
Roughly how many miles is that?
2.
Wishes of the board.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the advertisement of SAP 014-609-010 with a letting date of February 24th, 2026, at 9 a.m.
We have a
Second.
motion offered from Commissioner Bear to approve, a second from Commissioner Ebinger. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carried. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
Rich, you walked in after public comment. Did you have anything for public comment? Okay. Thank you. We're on to committee reports. Commissioner Ebinger.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Last week, on Thursday, the 8th, I attended the Moorhead, or the Diversion Authority annual meeting. Mayor Mahoney was elected chair and Mayor Carlson vice chair. Give me a minute to find my agenda. We had a resolution to appoint the 2026 members of the Diversion Authority Board, Land Management Committee, and Finance Committee, and the Planning Committee for the Diversion Authority. Elected, again, as I stated, the Vice Chair for the Diversion Authority and the Secretary for the Diversion Authority. And then the standard business of approving meeting dates. We discussed the 2026 Diversion Authority Governance Annual Work Plan. We're moving into the O&M transition period. with the completion of the projects throughout the year, and we were briefed on that. And on Monday, the 12th, myself and Commissioner Krabanoff attended a meeting about discussion of alcohol social host ordinances with some of the staff at Public Health. We do not have a social host ordinance. The one that is being proposed to be a civil ordinance, not a criminal one.
Commissioner Ebinger, can I ask a question?
Sure.
What is a social host ordinance?
That was going to be the next thing I said. Moorhead has had one, a criminal one, for about
Let's take a break for just a minute while we get the microphones. Apologize for that interruption. We all had notifications going on. The community, all right.
a social host ordinance is one that attaches liability to an adult hosting a party or a group gathering of minors who are either drinking or using controlled substances. The criminal one has been in Moorhead. The city council passed it, I want to say 15 years ago. This will be a civil one that has civil consequences. It is not, the burden of proof is not as, it is preponderance of evidence as opposed to beyond reasonable doubt. This is only in the discussion phase at this point and would be brought before the commission for clarification and input before anything's actually done. But the civil one would be less of an obstacle to the officers involved because it has a lower level of requirement of evidence. And so the case is not going to be a matter of bringing people in and trying to prove intent and purpose and a lot of other different things.
And that committee is with the courts? The committee that is talking about this, what committee is that?
Oh, public health. There's just a group of them that have brought this forward. We left it with sort of the guidance that Sheriff Empting this be cleared and see where his stance is on it before they proceed any further. But obviously, and we've asked them to make sure that the county administrator obviously is kept abreast of anything that happens. So that was the conclusion of that meeting, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Ebinger. Commissioner Krabanoff.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There are fun words to say for the first time.
Thank you.
Let's see. Going back to last Thursday on the 8th, I had the monthly meeting for the Class WCD. Much of the meeting had to do with beginning of the year items for their assignments and dues arena pay. There were two final requested payments for 2 water sediment control basins. That was a big project in the Holly area. Also, the other another thing of discussion is that Comstock has put in a water treatment area just on the north side of the town. And some of that land had been exempted out by the diversion. Other pieces weren't any problem with potential wetlands. So that they approved the wetland type delineation for that area, and it was found that there's going to be 0.48, just under half acre of land that will need to meet the criteria for wetland replacement. So just to give the figure they put out, so that's, you double that, it's the 2 to 1. So 0.916 acre, and to replace that will be $49,800. Not bad. Anyway, it's good. They needed to go ahead, and certainly they felt good about how everything turned out. And then the last thing I'll mention from that meeting is through the county, obviously, DNR completed the preliminary map and the PWI for corrections list for Clay County. And that there's going to be a presentation on that by DNR on January 20th, 6 o'clock at the MCOM Center. So, and that takes care of that meeting. On Friday, as being invited by the chamber, I did go out to the new airport expansion. Very, very, very nice. And the architecture in there is great. So the timeline is going to be this year. That's what I'm going to put for that to happen. It may be 3 months or 4 months, something like that. But anyway, I think we were able to go on both levels. You can see the carousels and everything underneath, and the new area where people would be going to their gates. For now, there are 8 gates operating. Those 8 gates will go to the other side. And then there will be a little disruption starting in 2 or 3 weeks here, where they start transitioning everything to that side, and they got a TSA is going to move in that. So there might be a week where lines are going to be a little longer, because that's going to that area is narrowed, and they'll have to move to one entry, or excuse me, TSA 1 entry instead of 2, but it's only 1 week. Then, as soon as that gets over there, and that time, then the other part of the airport then will start its renovation. And when they're all done, you know, the whole place will have 9 gates. So I said that wrong earlier. It's 4 and 4. That makes 8. So anyway, it was really enjoyable to see and just hear the project manager and all the things they had done. Again, I had a meeting yesterday along with Commissioner Ebinger, and that was for that public health substance prevention. And again, on that, the only thing I'll add on that, as he said, that'll move on through our administrator and then whatever our sheriff and legal has to add on it. And before he comes here, I was surprised that, you know, I guess maybe I'd heard something about this, but I didn't realize how many counties. So 37 counties already have this ordinance, and like Moorhead, 147 cities. So anyway, it's been going on, I believe, since 2012 or somewhere in that period of time. Let's see. Then yesterday afternoon, with Historical Cultural Society, we had a finance and executive committee looking at our finances, where we're sitting. Are there ways we should shuffle money to make it more efficient for what we're doing and get a higher rate of return? And we've come up with a couple options, which we'll keep working toward and finalize with the board. And then last night, it was just a discussion that came up from my work on the Food Commission. A few weeks ago, I apologize, I'm going to forget his last name, but Fred came and presented on the organic compost recycling. And anyway, this group called Climate Action Committee, it's a group out of Moorhead, kind of brought some preliminary things that they brought forward. I think the next steps may happen. They'll be talking to you, Steve, and then perhaps get, if interested, get SWAC involved and others. So anyway, a continuing dialogue for something for the future. And that's my report.
Commissioner Ebinger?
I failed to mention, I also attended that meeting, and I understand that they are set to present the SWAC in the upcoming SWAC meeting. We told them that there are portfolios here, and that you and Commissioner Campbell are the ones that would be overseeing this on behalf of the council. But these were constituents of ours that asked us to attend.
Thank you, Commissioner Ebinger. Thank you, Commissioner Kravanoff. Commissioner Campbell?
Thank you. January 8th, I attended the Clay County Intergovernmental Committee. most of our focus was on the intergovernmental retreat, which is going to be on Friday, January 30th. I think the items on the agenda, we're going to have some speakers from DEED and West Central Initiative, MetroCog, and then there's going to be a cities panel, legislative update, and then there's going to be another panel regarding school issues and what's going on with the different school districts in Clay County. That same day, then, I traveled to Fergus Falls for a Lakes Country Service Cooperative meeting. That meeting was basically the organizational meeting for 2026, where we approved the election of officers, and then the committees that we all serve on different committees within that organization. And then I came back in time for the Diversion Planning Commission. It was also that same day. And basically, that meeting was a presentation regarding our executive director's priorities for 2026. So those were shared with us. And my fourth meeting that day was the Diversion Board of Authority meeting. And again, we elected a new chair and vice chair and secretary. And we had some discussion regarding our governance annual work plan. And as was mentioned, we are shifting to O&M with the anticipated completion of the project in October of this year. There will be a significant shift to operations and maintenance. And yesterday I had a highway tracking committee meeting. We had a highway tracking committee meeting. There was some discussion about overweight permits regarding CASA 26. And I think it was our feeling out of the Highway Tracking Committee that we did not support giving out those excess loads for the permit price that we get and the potential damage to our roads. There was just, we didn't feel it was in our best interest to deal with that. Then there was, I don't know if you recall, but I reported on, there was a constituent up in the Wall Street Broadway area who had put a request out to eliminate the four-way stop signs at Wall Street and Broadway. We asked that our county engineer reach out to MNDOT and get MNDOT's opinion of that. That opinion came back that they did not believe that we should alter that four-way stop. And so I believe that's, we instructed or asked our county engineer to reach out to that individual and let him know that we got the response from MNDOT, and they felt that that was not really a safe alternative for that intersection. We had some staffing update, engineering technicians. There's two of them that are going to be, one's going to be out on paid family medical leave, and another one we understand is going to be taking the early retirement between now and June. So there's going to be a short, so Justin will be coming before the board to have those positions replaced. Transportation Day on the Capitol is February 19th. Justin intends to be there. Did you find out if, is that the same day as the Moorhead days? Okay, we don't need to know that, I guess. And then Justin had brought before us too the survey equipment replacement, and that dollar amount came in. And there are two new GPS units. They're very valuable, and they serve a really good service and save a lot of time. And so the internal service fund will cover the cost of those, and the total on that is $124,023.63. So that will be coming before the board. He also talked about 2 pickup purchases needing to be done. That also is within his internal service fund to purchase those, so he will be, actually, he has to get more information on those, and that's gonna be coming back to highway tracking before any recommendation is done on that one. And then after that, Commissioner Mojo and I did meet with Corey and Darren and Steve regarding this issue that's being talked about regarding the organics, and so we're, we have a lot of questions. There's a lot of talk about these grants and who writes these grants, and so there's a lot of questions. So we wanted to get Corey's input on this stuff too, before we met with SWAC. So we had a preliminary meeting on that. Certainly, we all believe that doing something is a good option, as was mentioned by the gentleman that was here last time. When we have 30-some% of our waste is organic, there's, can there be better ways to do it? But it's implementing it that's going to be the difficult thing, and I'm afraid it's not going to be free. So the grants will be important to help us with that. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Campbell. Moorhead Day at the Capitol with the Chamber is March 11th and 12th, but they do have a legislative priority session that week that I'm attending. That's where the confusion was. Commissioner Bear.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I only had one meeting last Thursday, the 8th. It was the Intergovernmental Committee, and Commissioner Campbell chatted about that, so I have nothing to add.
Thank you, Commissioner Bear. Last week, I attended the legislative check-in we had with our lobbyists, with Commissioner Kravanaugh and Steve Larson. Really great dialogue as we gear forward towards work we need for the legislature. This conversation revolved around the bill language, needing to amend the bill language for the updated costs and any other provisions that need to be looked at. Glad to be going into session with existing bills. I had a meeting with the AMC Environment and Natural Resources Policy leadership. We have check-ins with all of the agencies, DNR, MPCA, Bowser tomorrow in St. Paul, looking at some minor language. I'm glad you brought up the 2-for-1 dialogue. We're talking about replacing it with a 1-for-1, which might make more sense in regards to land mitigation. More to come on that. I attended a meeting Friday with the non-secured detention BRTF conversation. We had this. I think this is just a brief. Okay. Okay, thank you. Let's see. Friday, I had the non-secure detention PRTF conversation, working with solutions on any additional strategizing moving forward. I attended the Highway Tracking Committee that Commissioner Campbell covered quite well. I think the other piece is making sure that we're working, this is insane, they're going off again. All right. Working with FEMA in regards to the protection areas. Commissioner Campbell serves on planning, so he's continuing to keep us updated on that with the diversion. And then had the solid waste conversation internally as a planning meeting in front of the SWAC presentation. I also have been approached by those individuals in the community as well with those concerns. What's really great is we receive SCORE funding from the state that helps to go to mitigate programs with cities, and this might be a really great opportunity for cities to kind of take the lead on where they want to spend their SCORE dollars as well. So lots of great dialogue to come out of that, and then moving forward, we'll see what comes forward. That concludes my report. Steve.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Last Tuesday, I participated in what is nearly one of our final plannings with the Budweiser MPCA planning that Public Health received dollars. There's been 3 public hearings along with several internal staff meetings with, between Clay County, City of Moorhead. I believe the PIC will be hearing an update this morning, and then will be coming before the board here in the coming weeks. That afternoon, I was able to go to Derek LaPointe's open house, wish him well in his new role, and thank him for all the work that he did on behalf of Clay County. On the 7th, I met with Anna. Most of our focus was on paid family medical and other HR issues. Participated also in the legislative planning. That's been well discussed. That afternoon, I met with Mr. Melton on a series of county issues. On the 8th, participated in the intergovernmental retreat meeting. Again, if you have not asked us to have you registered for that, please do so. I met with Jessica and Anna. They have some PIC items today that were going to be discussed. Also then met with Lori Johnson as we complete our separation with Otter Tail County and Wilkin County and the CHB. We're just trying to make sure that all of our financials are in order. On the 9th, I met with the non-secure detention PRTF meeting with Representative Keeler, staff, and Steve Summers. That's been well covered. Yesterday, I participated in highway tracking, which again has been well covered, and also the organics discussion. And just a reminder to our citizens, next Monday, the county will be closed in recognition of Martin Luther King Day. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Steve. Darren?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just have a couple of things. On the 6th, I had union negotiations with jail administration. That was the first one that we had with them. 7th, 8th, and 9th, I was on vacation and got to take advantage of the airport parking garage, which was very nice not to have to come back and shovel snow off of my car. And then yesterday, I attended the meetings that have already been covered by Commissioner Mojo and Commissioner Campbell
Thank you.
on the solid waste.
Sarah, do you have anything? Thank you. That concludes our business. Our next meeting is scheduled for next Tuesday, January 20th. We are adjourned.